So, John, I know you are thinking about trying to reduce your intake of sugar. Would you tell me a little bit more about why that's important to you?
Well, when I was younger, I was pushing pre-diabetes pretty hard. I was having blood sugar swings,
Hmm.
and I was heavier than I am now. And that was probably 15 years ago. Um, but I've, I sort of got that under control, but at the same time, um, you know, I've realized that I have that sensitivity. And
Mm.
since then, both my parents and my sister have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Um, and, I've got kids, so I want to be around.
So, I'm hearing you say that cutting your sugar is important because you want to be around for your children. You're worried because you might have a sensitivity to sugar based on your parents' experiences as diabetics. And you know that in the past you have had issues with prediabetes.
Hmm.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Tell me some things you've done in the past to sort of address the sugar consumption issue. Things that might have worked.
Uh, I haven't been super methodical about it. I will occasionally, like every few months, I'll get really dedicated to the cause and I'll just go cold turkey off of everything sweet.
Mm.
Um, because I feel like even a little may feed my cravings. And it usually does. It usually works because 3 or 4 days into something like that, the cravings subside quite a bit. What I have found is that over time, I will have like a bad day, or I'll just get stressed out for some reason or another, and I will have like a little something, not even something terrible, just some dark chocolate or
Mm.
a relatively moderate carbohydrate food.
Okay.
Um, and that usually it's not it's kind of a slippery slope, but it's not straight from nothing to just gorging on it all the time. It's usually a process of extreme moderation followed by a little bit less moderation, a little bit less moderation, and a few months down the line, I feel gross, and I sort of start the whole process over and get fed up and just go cold turkey off of everything again.
Mm.
So that's sort of how it goes.
So it sounds like you will stop eating sugar completely, and sometimes you'll have maybe a bad day. Does that sound about right? And then you feel like you want to eat sugar, and then it's hard to stop past that
Yeah,
point.
well, and it could be a bad day, or even like a celebratory thing, or if I've done it, if I've been off of sugar and sweets, and I eat very, very moderate carbohydrate of any kind, but sweets are my particular weakness. Like I can go without potatoes and bread forever,
Sure.
um, but sugary things. So yeah, I can. If I feel really good because I've been sort of clean for a while, I'll rationalize it, or I'll just tell myself, there's no point in being a dogmatic purist,
Mm.
and because I sort of feel like there's truth to that too, that you can push yourself so hard that there's really no point in food anymore, or life in general, if you can't enjoy anything.
So it sounds like sometimes having that treat is important to you, sort of just to have something that you enjoy eating.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy my normal food as well, but I feel like there's a balance. I'm trying to find the balance between not being able to have anything at all, and on the one hand, and on the other hand, being completely out of control.
So it's wonderful that you want to make positive health change and improve your sugar handling, and it's wonderful that you want to be there for your kids as you grow up. What do you think you can do to help find balance so that occasionally you might be able to have a treat without feeling like you're going off the rails?
I think keeping it out of the house is a big thing.
Mm.
Because when you're watching what you eat, you end up preparing a lot of your own food.
Mm-hmm.
So I very rarely anymore eat anything from a restaurant. And one idea that I have is just to get everything out of the house, so that if I want a treat, I actually have to go out of my way to go get one.
Mm.
And the downside to that is that if I'm going to go buy something and bring it into the house, it's probably clean. It'll be organic or without additives. It'll be like a real food chocolate, as opposed to if I say I'm not going to have any of this in the house and I'm only going to, I'll just go to a restaurant because I'm only doing it once in a while. So then I'll go to a restaurant and God knows what preservatives I'm eating in that. So I don't know. I don't really know that there's an ideal method. But it would be nice if I could get some kind of balance, and maybe it's a mental trick that I'm missing. Or
So do you think it would be possible to maybe find like a single serving, better quality ice cream or chocolate bar so that you're not bringing it into the house, but you also aren't going out to a restaurant where you have to worry about preservatives?
Yeah, that makes sense. There's some pretty good health food stores around here, and even some of the regular grocery stores are carrying stuff like that. So
That sounds good. So just to reiterate what we talked about, you mentioned being concerned about your sugar consumption because of family history of diabetes and your own pre-diabetes in the past. Plus, you want to be around for your kids. In the past, you have managed to kind of cut sugar out, but when you have stress or a moment of weakness, sometimes it creeps back in, and then it's hard to give up again. You said the best way kind of to handle it for you so far has been just cutting it completely out of the house, but then you feel like sometimes you want a treat and the options that are available out of the house are maybe not optimal. So you think that perhaps getting a smaller serving of something better while you're out occasionally would be a good option. Does that sound right?
yeah, that sounds right.
Great. And on a scale of maybe 1 to 100, how important is it for you to cut sugar down a little bit in your life?
I would say at least an 80 or 85.
That's wonderful. All right.